Welcome back everyone. Here we are with the second session of your chapter Electric Current Through Conductors. In previous lecture, we discussed till rheostat, its uses and applications. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about series combination of resistors, parallel combination of resistors, specific resistance, variation of resistance with temperature, electromotive force, cells in series and parallel, and types of cells. Let's start with series and parallel connection. There are two types of connections, one is series, another one is parallel. Series connection is the loads are connected to form a single pathway for electric charges to pass. Whereas parallel connection is the loads are connected to form branches, each of which provides a separate path for current. Let's have a quick view between difference of series and parallel connections. In series circuits, a series circuit is a circuit in which the current can only flow through one path. Current is the same at all points in a series circuit. One more point over here, total resistance will be greater than the smallest or greatest resistor. In parallel circuits, in contrast, in a parallel circuit, there are multiple paths for current flow. Different paths may contain different current flow. This is also based on Ohm's law. Total resistance will be less than the smallest resistor. Let's start with series combination. A number of resistors are said to be connected in series if these are joined end to end and the same current flows through each of them when potential difference is applied across the combination. In series combination, the equivalent resistance is equal to the sum of individual resistances and is greater than any individual resistance. It means यहाँ पे जो आपका वोल्टेज है वो ऐड होता जाएगा and throughout current रहेगा constant. For example, here we are going to consider a circuit in which three resistors R1, R2 and R3 are connected in series with the potential difference battery V. The potential difference V is equal to the sum of potential differences V1, V2 and V3. That is, the total potential difference across a combination of resistors in series is equal to the sum of potential differences across the individual resistors. That is, V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. Now we know Ohm's law, it's V is equal to IR. For series resistance, V is equal to IRS. RS stand for series resistance. Ohm's law, let's apply for three individual resistances. V1 becomes IR1, V2 IR2 and V3 become IR3. Now let's substitute these all values in given equation. V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. Equation becomes IRS is equal to IR1 plus IR2 plus IR3. When we take out I as a constant and cancel it from the both sides, we'll get RS is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. इसका मतलब है जब सीरीज में रेजिस्टर कनेक्ट होते हैं वो ऐड होते जाते हैं. Moving towards next, combination of resistors in parallel. A number of resistors are said to be connected in parallel if one end of each resistor is connected to one end and the other end is connected to another end, so that the potential difference across each resistor is the same and is equal to the applied potential difference between 2 points. In parallel combination, the reciprocal of the equivalent resistance is equal to the sum of the reciprocals of the individual resistances and is smaller than any individual resistance. इसका मतलब है exactly opposite to series combination. Parallel में क्या होता है, potential difference constant रहता है और current क्या होता है, individual cell को अलग अलग जाता है. Consider an arrangement of three resistors joined in parallel with a battery. You can see it over here, R1, R2, R3 connected in series, parallelly. Their currents are I1, I2, I3 respectively and they are connected with a potential battery V. Now, it is observed that total current I is equal to the sum of separate currents through each branch of the combination. So I will become I1 plus I2 plus I3. According to Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. So value of I is V upon R. Let's find out value of I1, I2, I3 individually. According to Ohm's law, I1 become V upon R1, I2 become V upon R2, and I3 is equal to V upon R3. Now, from equation 1, let's substitute equation 3 in equation 1. You will get V upon Rp is equal to V upon R1 plus V upon R2 plus V upon R3. Take throughout V constant and cancel it out. You will get 1 upon Rp is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3. If there are n resistors connected in series, it will turns up to 1 upon Rn. Thus, when a number of resistors are connected in parallel, the reciprocal of the equivalent resistance is equal to the sum of reciprocals of individual resistances. In short, in series circuit, the total current is equal. In parallel circuit, the total voltage is equal. So in series, R is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3 up to so on. And in parallel, 1 upon R is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3 and so on. Moving towards one example related to this. You can see it over here. If there are two resistances in parallel, it becomes R1, R2 upon R1 plus R2. If they are in series, it will become R1 plus R2 directly. There is one example related to that both when resistances in series and parallel. Here we are going to calculate total resistance and total current in the following circuit. Value of R1, R2 and R3 given. R1 3 ohm, R2 6 ohm, R3 5 ohm and V 14 volt. Now you can see it over here, R1 and R2 are parallel to each other. Therefore, you can use formula R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2 to find out equivalent resistance for this parallel circuit. Now R1 is 3, R2 is 6, therefore it will become 3 into 6 divided by 3 plus 6, so 18 upon 9, 2 ohm. Now this 2 ohm and this R3 are connected in series form, so overall current becomes this equivalent plus R3. Equivalent is 2 ohm, R3 is 5 ohm. So 2 plus 5, overall resistance of this combination is 7 ohm. Now we know that according to Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. Therefore we want to find out value of I. I is equal to V upon R total. V given 14 volt, R हमने calculate किया है 7 ohm. So I will become 14 volt upon 7 ohm, that is 2 ampere. So in this way, series combination, parallel combination and Ohm's law work together. I hope you understood, right? You can see it over here. This is connection where resistances are in series. Here they are in parallel form. Next point, the specific resistance or resistivity. At a particular temperature, the resistance of a given conductor is observed to depend on the nature of material of conductor, the area of cross section and its length. If the length of the conductor increases, the electrons have to travel a longer distance, and as a result of this, its resistance increases. That is, R is proportional to L. Resistance R of a conductor of uniform cross section is directly proportional to its length. If the cross-sectional area of the conductor decreases, the electrons find it more difficult to pass through it and the resistance increases. You can write it is inversely proportional to area of cross-section, so R is inversely proportional to A. When you combine these both terms, it will become R is equal to rho L upon A. We consider that rho as a proportionality constant and it is called as specific resistance or resistivity. Value of rho is Ra upon L. Now according to that, SI unit becomes ohm meter. Resistivity of conductor is numerically the resistance per unit length. per unit area of cross section of material of conductor. I'll repeat. Resistivity of a conductor is numerically the resistance per unit length and per unit area of cross section of material of the conductor. So when you consider resistivity is a property of material, while resistance refers to a particular object. Exactly opposite to resistivity, there is point called conductivity. There is a property. The reciprocal of resistivity is called conductivity of material. Reciprocal of resistivity called conductivity of material. That's why SI unit of conductivity is ohm per meter. Understood? Next point. Now we are going to discuss variation of resistance with temperature. Resistivity of a material varies with temperature. It is basic property of any material. The variation is linear over a certain range of temperature. Linear relation in between them can be expressed as rho is equal to rho naught in bracket 1 plus alpha T minus T naught. Now let's discuss these notification. T naught is chosen reference temperature. Rho naught is resistivity at temperature T naught. For example, if we consider T naught can be 0 degree Celsius. If it is 0 degree Celsius, above equation becomes alpha is equal to rho minus rho naught, यहाँ पे देख लीजिए, divided by rho naught T minus T naught. Alpha is the temperature coefficient of resistivity. So similarly, for resistance, this equation for alpha becomes R minus R naught divided by R naught into T minus T naught. This equation shows the resistivity of some of the metals. The temperature coefficient of resistance is defined as the increase in resistance per unit original resistance. You can see it over here, R minus R naught is increase in resistance. Original resistance यहाँ पे है R naught. At the chosen temperature difference, that is T minus T naught, per degree rise in temperature. Look at this again. The temperature coefficient of resistance is defined as the increase in resistance per unit original resistance at the chosen reference temperature per degree rise in temperature. Now unit of this particular coefficient is per degree Celsius or per degree Kelvin. Now according to this equation, we can write R minus R naught is equal to R naught T minus T naught into alpha. So you can write R is equal to R naught into bracket 1 plus alpha T minus T naught. For small difference in temperature, you can write alpha is equal to 1 upon R naught dr upon dt. Now you can go through this graph, which is a temperature versus resistivity graph. It's a straight line graph from the center, and we can plot different points which gives us value of resistivity against temperature. Let's go through one example related to this. A piece of platinum wire has resistance of 2.5 ohm at 0 degree Celsius. If its temperature coefficient of resistance is 4 into 10 raised to minus 3 per degree Celsius, find the resistance of wire at 80 degree Celsius. Now chosen temperature is 80, right? R naught आपको दिया गया है, resistance 2.5 ohm. अल्फा का वैल्यू दिया गया है, टेम्परेचर कोएफिशिएंट दैट इज 4 into 10 raised to minus 3, that is 0.004 per degree Celsius. We have formula RT is equal to R naught 1 minus lambda T. Now it's actual T minus T naught, but we have value of T and T naught at 0 degree Celsius, so it will become 80 degree directly. So 2.5, 1 प्लस अल्फा का वैल्यू डाल दीजिए 0.004 इंटू 80, 2.5 इंटू 1.32, the final equation becomes 3.3 ohm. So आपको पूछा गया रेजिस्टेंस ऑफ वायर एट 80 डिग्री सेल्सियस इज 3.2 ओहम. आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड कि आपको न्यूमेरिकल सॉल्व कैसे करना है और गिवन डेटा क्या क्या है. आफ्टर दिस वी आर मूविंग टूवर्ड्स इलेक्ट्रोमोटिव फोर्स, EMF जनरली हम जिसको बोलते हैं. In a cell or battery, the chemical changes takes place which provide the energy required to push the electric charge round the circuit. The electromotive force of any electrical source is the work done by the source in driving a unit charge around a complete circuit. The SI unit of EMF is joule per coulomb or volt. The voltage or electric potential difference across the terminals of a cell when no current is drawn from it. The EMF is the sum of electric potential differences provided by a separation of charges, that is electrons or ions, that can occur at each phase boundary in a cell. Moving towards the deep knowledge according to this, the difference between EMF and voltage is that voltage is the potential difference in a closed circuit, which means when a switch from a battery or a source is switched on, the potential difference in the circuit is known as voltage. V is equal to E minus IR, but whereas EMF is the raw potential contained inside a source or battery, excluding all the losses. EMF is the maximum ability of a battery, but when in circuit it becomes V, taking in the losses occurred by the conductor's resistance. That's why value of V is equal to E minus IR, where E is the EMF of cell, I is the total current, and R is the resistance of conductor. Transformers function on the principle of power, as we know P is equal to VI. Therefore, I is equal to P by V or V is equal to P by I. Therefore, I is inversely proportional to V. Thus, increase in the current results decrease in the voltage and vice versa. Transformers have to minimize the loss of current. That's why they transfer with large voltage and small current, which they later step up or step down according to requirements. Here, when charges flow through a conductor, a potential difference has to be established between the two ends of the conductor. For a steady flow of charges, this potential difference is required to maintain across the two ends and the terminals. There is a device that does so by doing work on the charges, thereby maintaining the potential difference. Here, we are going through one circuit with an EMF device and resistor R. EMF device keeps the positive terminal at the higher electric potential than the negative terminal. It is clear that the same amount of charge dq flows throughout the circuit, including the EMF device. It enters the negative terminal and leaves the positive one. Therefore, during this whole process, device must do the work dW on the charge dq. Therefore, EMF is given by epsilon is equal to dW upon dq. In an ideal device, when we consider if a current flows through an EMF device, there is an internal resistance and the EMF differs from the potential difference across two terminals given by V is equal to E minus IR. Now, this negative sign is due to the fact that the current I flows through the EMF device from the negative terminal to positive terminal. Now, we know according to Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. Now, we have two values of V with us, that is V is equal to E minus IR and one is V is equal to IR. We can compare both of them. IR becomes E minus IR. Therefore, value of I is equal to EMF upon R plus small r. Therefore, the maximum current that can be drawn from the EMF device is when R is equal to 0. That is, I max is equal to E upon R. This is the maximum allowed current from an EMF device. Due to these all things, this decides the maximum current rating of the cell or a battery. So in short, EMF is the electromotive force of any electrical source is the work done by the source in driving a unit charge around the complete circuit. Go through this once. Now we are going to discuss about, we already discussed about resistors in series and parallel. Here we are going to discuss about cells in series and cells in parallel. Let's start one by one. Here, first of all, we are going to discuss about cells in series. Consider a circuit given below, that is connection. The cell can be modified with an EMF and the internal resistor with resistance R, which is connected in series. You can note it down over here. The terminal potential difference represented as V is defined as the potential difference developed between the positive and negative terminals of the cell when current flows through the circuit. You can write V is equal to V plus V minus IR. As we all know that epsilon, that is EMF is equal to V plus V minus, that is I in bracket R plus R. So EMF will become IR plus I into small r. In place of capital IR, we can substitute potential difference. So EMF is equal to V plus IR. So in this way, V becomes E minus or EMF minus IR. Usually internal resistance of a cell is not considered because of EMF is much greater than IR. The value of internal resistance changes from cell to cell. So for the series combination, you are not supposed to discuss much because of we all know that in series combination, individual potential difference can be given by epsilon, that is EMF minus IR. Now there are few advantages and disadvantages also of this cells connected in series. The cells connected in series produces a greater resultant voltage. The cells which are damaged can be easily identified and hence can be replaced easily as they break the circuit. Disadvantages: if any one of the cell is damaged in a circuit, it may affect the whole connection. The cells which are connected in series gets easily exhausted and so they do not last longer. It is not used in house wiring. So in this way, we had enough discussion on cells in series. Moving towards cells in parallel point. Here we are going to consider two cells which connected parallelly. Positive terminal of all cells are connected together and negative terminals of all cells connected together. As we all know that I splits into I1 plus I2. So I is equal to I1 plus I2. So potential difference across the terminals of the first cell, will just calculate this everything. Here look at V1 and V2 with potential differences VB1 and VB2. Positive terminal of all cells connected positively, negative of all terminals connected to negative point or another point. I is equal to I1 plus I2, point V1 and V2 having potential VB1 plus VB2. So we know that potential difference across the terminal is given by VB1 minus VB2. Now VB1 we consider it as the EMF, that is E1 minus VB is I1 R1. Value of I1 according to this becomes epsilon 1 minus V upon R1. B1 and B2 are connected exactly similarly to the second cell. So exactly similar to this, second becomes I2 is equal to epsilon 2 minus V upon R2. Now we know that when they are parallelly connected, their current will add. So I will be I1 plus I2. Now हमारे पास I1 का value है, we have value of I2 also. Let's substitute epsilon 1 minus V upon R1 plus epsilon 2 minus V upon R2. ये R1 इन दोनों को separate कर दीजिए, ये R2 इन दोनों को separate कर दीजिए, आपको मिलेगा epsilon 1 upon R1 minus V upon R1 plus epsilon 2 upon R2 minus V upon R2. इप्सिलॉन के सारे टर्म्स एक जगह, v के सारे टर्म्स दूसरी जगह, इप्सिलॉन 1 अपॉन r1 प्लस इप्सिलॉन 2 अपॉन r2 माइनस v इन ब्रैकेट 1 अपॉन r1 प्लस 1 अपॉन r2. देयरफॉर इसका वैल्यू v इंटू 1 अपॉन r1 प्लस 1 अपॉन r2 इज इक्वल टू दिस टर्म माइनस i जब यहाँ पे जाएगा. सॉल्व दिस फॉर वैल्यू ऑफ v इंटू R1 plus R2 upon R1 R2 is equal to epsilon 1 R2 plus epsilon 2 R1 upon R1 R2 minus I as it is. Now as we all know, V is equal to epsilon minus IR. On an average हम लोग पकड़ रहे हैं. So epsilon is equal to epsilon 1 R2 plus epsilon 2 R1 divided by R1 plus R2. R equivalent is equal to R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2. Now this is case when resistors are connected parallelly. Therefore it will become 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2. So I can write E equivalent, epsilon equivalent upon R equivalent is equal to epsilon 1 upon R1 plus epsilon 2 upon R2 plus up to epsilon n upon Rn. Substitution of EMFs should be done algebraically by considering proper plus minus signs according to the polarity. So basically when they are in series combination, the equation will become V is equal to epsilon minus IR, and when they are connected parallelly, equation will become epsilon upon R is equal to epsilon 1 upon R1 plus epsilon 2 upon R2 up to epsilon n upon Rn. Again, there are few advantages and disadvantages also. For the cells connected in parallel, if any one of the cell is damaged in the circuit, it will not affect the whole connection. The cells which are connected in parallel do not exhaust easily and thus they last longer. As disadvantages, the voltage developed by the cells in parallel connections cannot be increased by increasing the number of cells present in the circuit. It is because they do not have same circular path. In parallel connection, the connection provides power based on one cell, so the brightness of the bulb will not be high. So in this way, we had discussion on cells when they are connected parallelly. The question might arises like, write a long note or deep note on cells connected in series or in parallel with their derivational form or with their mathematical equation. Moving towards last point of this chapter, that is types of cells. Electrical cells can be divided into several categories like primary cell, secondary cell, fuel cell, etc. Here we are going to discuss one by one primary cell, secondary cell and fuel cells. A primary cell cannot be charged again. It can be used only once. For example, we can take dry cells, alkaline cells are different examples. Primary cells are low cost and can be used easily, but these are not suitable for heavy loads. Second point, secondary cells. Secondary cells are used for such applications. They are rechargeable and can be reused. The chemical reactions in secondary cells is reversible. Lead acid cell and fuel cells are some of the examples of secondary cells. Third point we are going to discuss is fuel cells. Fuel cells vehicles are electric vehicles that use fuel cells instead of lead acid batteries to power the vehicles. Hydrogen is used as the fuel in the fuel cells. The byproduct after its burning is water. So, when we consider the hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, they are more environment friendly. So, in this way, we're done with this chapter. We're done with second session of this chapter. In this, we had long discussion on resistors in series, in parallel form, then specific resistance, then temperature coefficient of resistance, electromotive force, then cells in series, cells in parallel, their advantages, disadvantages and types of cells. I hope you understood everything. I'll stop here for today. Tomorrow we are moving to the next chapter, that is magnetism, from your textbook chapter number 12. I'll stop here for today. I hope you understood everything. Thank you, students. Have a good day. Bye.